Hey everyone, I'm here today with artist Nicole Royer, who happens to be a painter, and we're going to ask her some questions and find out a little bit more about her. Hey Nicole, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Great. Let's get started. Why do you paint?
Well, the main answer is I paint because I can't not paint. There's just something inside of me that is dying to come out, and that is the preferred method for me to translate what's inside and show everyone what's going on with me. Ever since I was little, I was super creative. We lived in a very small house, so I think because of the constraint of the space physically, I went inward to drawing and painting and creativity and just thinking of things that I could do within my small defined space.
Okay. So, being that you started your work that way, it must have influenced how you work. So, how do you work? Because each artist is different, and I'd like to know your process. What's your techniques?
Now, and probably for the past 20 years since I started abstraction, I enjoy laying out tarps and working almost furiously with a lot of color on canvas and just creating. I kind of called myself an abstract. Now I forget what it was.
Abstract action painter, I believe, is what it was.
I already forgot. Nerves. Abstract action painter. So, like, kind of like Jackson Pollock idea, where the process of the painting itself, and then obviously the end solution creation of the painting, are just as important as each other. So, what I'm doing in the moment, and I really do get like involved. Like to have music playing. Previously I don't know, I feel like as I've aged, I've kind of aged a little out of the crazy techno music, but I still really enjoy it when I'm painting because it gets me like, I don't know, it just energizes me.
So there's a lot of colors in your paintings. Is there a favorite time of day that you like to paint? Does that have something to do with it? Or is it just like the music influences your painting? Is the time of day that you paint, does that influence your work as well?
I so recently I feel like I'm painting in the midday, before this kind of having children in my life. I really liked to paint in the evenings and stay up late, but I think that has kind of changed my flow of the day. So I have the most energy now in the middle of the day. Before, it kind of like would build up, and then at night I would have this huge burst of energy, which kind of flip-flopped a little for me.
Okay. So let's move on. I want to ask you about the role that art plays in society. So obviously art inspires a lot of people to do a lot of different creative things, from writing to artwork to music to sculptures, just everyday personal expression. So I want to know, what role does art play in society to you? What do you think about that?
I mean, I'm an artist. I'm an artist at heart, and it's in my family, it's in my blood. So for us as a family, it is like top priority. It's kind of on the top of our minds and our heads, just how we see things in the world. I feel like non-artist type creatives still do understand the top importance of art in society, and they seek it out. I just watched a movie or a series recently where, it was about the Nazis, and they were going into the different countries and trying to steal the most important, most valuable pieces of art, tangible pieces of art. Now, there are other things that play into that, like music, which is not completely tangible. But the tangible art, I feel like, is of top importance of saving. And I believe that societies understand that, and preserving art and just how it plays into the times, all the political things that are going on. it's just always at the top for me.
I want to go back to what you said earlier about how your art started as abstract. Well, really, you started with realism, you moved to abstract, and now, from what I'm seeing in your work, you're combining the two together. So, how, in your opinion, how has your art changed over time?
Yeah, so I started drawing. The earliest I remember when I was 2. So, but in high school, I kind of I really went into detailed drawing, pencil, pen, and ink. And then when I was in college, I kind of played around with all different mediums, tried everything. I took classes in watercolors, some clay, just all the different types of painting, but also some other things like collage. So yeah, and then I don't know, one day in 2003, I don't know what happened with me, but something sparked, and I bought like 5 or 6 canvases, ran out to AC Moore. I had these tempera paints, which were not even good paints, not acrylic, not permanent. And then I just went to town, and that was my first abstract really like dive into it. And that's when I made Bamboo Tornado. If you see it on my website, I believe.
That's a great piece.
Yeah, that one's awesome. But the original is in tempera paint, which proves that you should always use great materials to make great work. And if you don't, it's really hard to preserve it. Now, thank God I was able to get a great photograph of it so I can do reprints, but the original is kind of starting to fade. So, but yeah, that was like my really first delve into abstract painting. And then from that, I just kind of skyrocketed and I loved it. It was just so freeing. I think freedom is one of the things you really see in a lot of my pieces. I tried to like unleash myself from that realistic constraint and just go crazy.
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up about freedom as a theme in one of your paintings or series of paintings. So, because that's what I was going to ask you next. What themes do you find yourself pursuing in your artwork? What is inspiring you to do these paintings? Is it personal experiences that you have, or is it something you're trying to put forth in your work that you're actively thinking about?
So I'm not one of those painters who is like trying to make a point in society at a certain specific time. Of course, that influences me, but it's more about my sentiments and my feelings and how I've interpreted things that are going on in my life. So whether it's about travel, someplace that I've been, and then I come back and I paint a series about that and how I kind of envisioned what I saw from India and Italy or whatever country it was, or just sometimes it was about seasons, like if it was springtime or fall. I have a gold series. I have kind of like a muted blacks and whites and grays series. So really just that was Heaven and Hell. That was a good one. It really just depends. Like right now I'm super into birds and I have no idea why. It's everything that can fly. So that's why I put these little pieces in here. So this is like birds on a wire I just finished. This is flying macaroons, which I literally just finished 2 days ago. And then of course my favorite, one of my best sellers, this chubby pink robin. So different ways to interpret things that fly. And there was like a butterfly, there were some other things in there. So that was my show that I just had at West this year.
It's amazing to see that you started, because I know where you started with the birds, and I think you started with the chubby robin, and it went from there and things evolved to where they are now. There's a lot of that theme of flying. So where do you see yourself with future themes? Do you have anything in mind right now that you're working on that we should be looking for? And do you see yourself revisiting any of these themes that you've done in the past that maybe you didn't fully get it out the first time and it's a continuation?
Well, I really never know what's gonna come out. I have more ideas always on paper and in my head than I can ever have time for in a lifetime. Like I have this large, this is actually it's vertical, but it goes the other way, but it's so on my easel right now, which I just purchased an easel because I'm getting a little older and it's hard for me to like move around these large canvases, and I have a kind of smaller space. So the easel hopefully will help me with this, just getting things on there and being able to really get in the details. So it's not going to be the abstract type things I'm going to do on here, but I don't know. I love doing flowers, florals. I love doing things that are like an uprising motion, as you can see from some of my pieces. I don't know. I feel like freedom and just escapism is something that I see a lot in my pieces. And I don't think I'm going to get away from that.
Okay, well, I think that wraps us up for today in this interview. I want to thank you for giving us the time, give some insight into your artwork, Nicole. As everyone may know or may not know, you can see all of Nicole's work, or most of it anyway, on www.NicoleRoyer.com, where you can also purchase prints, originals, merchandise, art branded merchandise, all kinds of things in there. You really need to check it out if you're interested in her artwork at all, or just the colorful artwork in general. You can also see her work on Facebook and Instagram, so check it out. We'll see you guys later.
Thank you. Have a great day.